The family living in this Valleyview home say strange things have been happening to them since they moved in 4 years ago, so they contacted a pair of ghost hunters to check things out. Paranormal investigators Jason Hewlett and Michael Stewart from the Canadian Paranormal Foundation have been to the house a number of times to observe and track the strange occurrences. During one recent visit, the investigators allowed Castanet Kamloops to tag along and document the process.
This one's been really interesting because we rarely do we get a case to return to a location over and over and over again. And the homeowner's been very open about us, not only like her talking about her experiences, but us coming back.
Stewart and Hewlett set up a device called a spirit box in order to communicate with potential entities.
Can you tell us your name?
The client, who did not want to appear on camera or be identified in this story, moved into the home 4 years ago with her 3 children. She says she noticed something was off the very first night, when she heard footsteps upstairs and her belongings had obviously been moved.
We've heard noises and movements. We've had our motion detectors go off on different floors when we've been like in the basement. They've gone off upstairs. And we've picked up sort of shadows moving in front of our cameras. And that's a lot of activity in one location over 4 visits.
Over the years, she and her children have had more and more paranormal encounters. Some of her neighbors have reported seeing shadows in the windows when no one is home, and one neighbor even refuses to enter the home out of fear. When the client heard about the Canadian Paranormal Foundation, she reached out and asked for help. The investigators have now been able to set up multiple trials using laser grids, motion detectors, and the spirit box.
From a research standpoint, the biggest problem in the field of the paranormal is rarely do you get to develop a theory and test it over and over again. Here we get to do that. We get to come up with ideas. We get to continuously put pieces of a puzzle together.
After a few sessions in the house, the investigators say they believe 2 entities are present: a female spirit on the upper floor and basement, and a male spirit on the main floor.
The male likes to act up in a more physical fashion, moving objects and slamming doors, things like that. Whereas the female is more sensations, the sensation of being watched, shadows, things like that.
Before contacting the investigators, the resident was unsure if there were separate entities, but referred to them as Frank and Francesca. The woman told Castanet Kamloops she's become very used to Frank and Francesca. Sometimes she still gets scared when it's dark and she's alone, but doesn't plan on moving out anytime soon.
It's a lot more common than you would think. Most people, once they get used to the idea, okay, that these entities aren't harmful, they're just there, they come to deal with it as background noise, is pretty much what it becomes.
Despite the 2 investigators already recording paranormal activity at the house, they say they plan on continuing their sessions in the Valleyview home for research purposes.
I know this is kind of Halloween season. It's all supposed to be very scary, but it's really not in the end. It might be startling, but this is just a very natural phenomenon.
Sydney Chisholm, Castanet News, Kamloops.